Okay, so hello everyone. In the last class, we discussed about the topic related to RAM. Okay, so we started with the concept of RAM. We understood that what are the address lines, what are data input lines, what are data output lines, and how we can come to know that what is the number of address lines for a RAM. Then we discussed what is the difference between RAM and ROM, and we came to know that RAM and ROM are similar. The only difference is in ROM we don't have the write line. Okay, so now let us move to the next topic, that is memory transfer. So how the data is transferred from different locations to memory. So we have a memory in this unit. If you check, so we have a memory unit, we have a read write lines, these are known as control lines. We have data in and data out lines. So this is simply the same circuit which we did earlier, that on one side there is there are in lines, one side there are output lines. So this is input line, output line. There are two read and write lines, and then we have a address line, that is a AR. So these are the address lines which we have. Okay, so now AR is also a register which is known as address register. So whenever we are referring memory, I think we discussed about this earlier as well, that it will be referred as MAR. So out of which M is memory, AR is the register. AR register which is at this location. So now we will talk how these kind of memories or how these functions are performed. So right, we are having a operation of read. So read operation is there, and what we are reading, we are reading a value from a particular address which is at AR, which is provided by the address register AR, and the data is located in memory, and that has to be shifted to another register known as DR. DR is a data register. So these are the registers. Here AR is address register and M is memory. Okay, transfer of data from memory to data register is shown by using this type of a representation. Read DR M AR. Okay, now there might be some other type of operations as well, like it is mentioned in this. It is not MMAR, it is MAR actually. So there is some problem in the slide. Okay, so that is sent to R1. R1 is a general purpose register where we are going to get the content from memory. Okay, so it might be for data register, it might be to some other register. So let us move to the next part. The contents of MER are sent to the memory address line. So memory address line is the number of address lines which the memory is going to have, that were represented by the unit K in the last slide. Okay, a read line is there. If you want to read the data from memory, then this line will become 1. If you want to write inside this memory, then the value of write will be 1. Okay, the contents of a specified register are put into memory's output line. Now whatsoever address is mentioned inside this K line, we search for the corresponding data inside the memory. So how your memory is going to store the data, it is something like this. So there is a table, like we are having the addresses on one side, we are having the data on the other side. So if this is the address line, like this is the address, and from this side we will get the data. So for a particular address, we will be having a particular data present as well. So let me just remake this so that you understand it correctly. So this type of structure is there inside the memory. So for a particular address, you will be having a data. So according to the address, the corresponding data will be shifted from this place to the output lines, and then your CPU will be able to read that data. Similarly, if we want to read the data from this, or if you want to write the data, so we will be having a particular address where we want to write the data, and the data whichever we want to write will be inputted from this line, and it will be placed at this particular location. So that is how a read and write operation is performed. Okay. So for reading, we need the address. For writing, we also need the address. So address is a must thing for any type of work which you want to perform on memory. Okay. So then after this, the fourth thing is once you load the data on the output line, so that is sent to the registers where you want to store. Like in this case, it is R1. It is showing like this MAR. So what that signifies is that for a particular address, like if this is the address mentioned, the corresponding data will be loaded to the output lines and it will be sent to the register R1. Okay. This is a memory read operation. And after this was a memory read operation. Then for a write operation, what we are having is simply there is only a simple difference that in this case for a write operation, R1 will be on this side and memory as well as address will be on the other side. This is a write operation. Now in this case, what happens? The data is sent from R1 register and it is going to get stored at a particular address inside a memory. So the representation remains same earlier. There is a address line. This is the data line. So now the input will be taken from this line. This is a read line. Okay. So it will take the data from this place and then store it at that address which is mentioned in this command. So that is how it is going to work. So this is the address here. The address will be mentioned at this place and the data they are going to get from this read line, and that data will be stored at this particular location. Okay. So you can read that the contents of MAR gets sent to the memory address line where the write becomes 1, because if we are going to write the data, this the write signal has to be 1. So a write will be 1. The values from R1 register are sent over the bus to the data input lines of memory. So this is the data input line of memory. So this will get the input and this data will be stored at the location inside the address. Okay. So this is a memory write operation. So there are some other transfer operations as well. You can see all those transfer operations inside your slide. So I will just tell you some of them. So you should be aware about the different type of registers which we have. So in A to B, what is happening? It is transferring the data from B register to A. Then DRAD. This is a data register of AD. AD is a register. Okay. Transfer of AD, some part of AD to AR. AR is the address register. Then we are shifting a constant value to the register A. This is the register R1's content is sent to A bus. Okay, this is A bus is A bus. Okay, bus number A. So this is data is sent to R2 register. AR is the address register. AR stores the address. DR stores the data. MR is the memory word specified by a register R. Whereas M, when we talk about memory, it is nothing, it is MAR actually. Okay, so you can write it as MAR, we can write it as memory only. So it is up to you. But whenever we talk about M, so this simply signifies that it is not alone. It needs to have a address with it. So it can be MAR, you can represent it as MR, you can represent it as M. But this M also signifies that you need to have the address register. So similarly, the content from memory are shifted from M to DR, or there might be the reverse of it. The content from data register might be sent to memory. So both the operations are possible. So these are some of the transfer micro operations. These are only some of them. These are not all. Okay. Now, next is what are the different type of micro operations we have. So this is an important part. So we are having four type of micro operations which are generally possible, which we do. First one is the register transfer micro operations, which we have just discussed, that when you are moving the content from one register to another, that is a register transfer micro operation. Then we have arithmetic micro operations, which are like add, subtract, multiply, divide. Okay, so like that. Then after this, we have logical micro operations, like we talk about and, or, XOR, XNOR. Okay, so we use some other names for them as well. We will be reading it in the next slides. After this, we have shift micro operations like shift left, that is also known as SHL, shift left. For shift right, SHR, shift right. Okay. So then we have arithmetic shift left, arithmetic shift right. So there are number of such shift things which we have, or shift micro operations which we have. So we will discuss all of them one by one. So first of all, we discussed the transfer operations. Now let us move to the arithmetic operations which we are going to perform. So first one is add, then we have subtract, increment, then we have decrement. There are some other operations as well. We have add with carry, okay, subtract with borrow, transfer, load. So these all are the arithmetic operations. So like we will just cover up some of them. So as you can see in your slide, they are writing like if I want to add the content of R1 and R2 and store it in R3. So this will simply add the content of R1 register and R2 register and store that content in R3. So this is how the add micro operation works. So after this, if we want to subtract, then we are having the micro operation like, so what it will do is, so it will simply subtract the content of R1, R2 from R1 register and store it in R3. So that is what this subtract micro operation will do. Then after that, we have another operation, that is complement. So complement is just finding out the ones complement in this. So if R2, we write it like this, then it will be performing the complement of R2. That is simply just changing the polarity of bits. Like if it is 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, this is the content of R, then it will become 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. So this will be equivalent to the complement of R. Then we have 2's complement. Now what is 2's complement? It is simply like this is the content of R1, like this is R, then the value of R dash will be 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. If it is R dash plus 1, then it will be just adding one value at the end. So then it will become and performing the sum. So it will be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. This is 2's complement of R. So 2's complement is equivalent to the r dash plus 1. Okay. Now we are having some other operations in this as well. So if we want to perform the subtraction as we discussed in the starting classes, that your computer is only aware of performing addition. It can't perform anything different from that. So simply what we need to do is, if we want to perform a subtraction, so how we can do that? Just see like this. If I'm having R3 to be stored and I want to perform R1 minus R2. So we can't directly perform the subtraction. Our system needs to put up a, you can say, different way of performing this subtraction. What it needs to perform is, it will do this task. R3 is going to get the data like R1 plus R2, its complement plus 1. So this is simply 2's complement. So subtraction is achieved by performing 2's complement of the second value which you want to subtract. So it is simply taking 2's complement of the last value and then adding it with R1. So this will perform a subtraction. So now we can also use a small example for this. So let us suppose that we are having a value 4 in R1, and how do we write 4? I will use 4 bits 1 0 0, so 0. Okay, this is 4. So I will be doing like this. R3 is going to get the value of 4 minus, I want to subtract 1 out of it. So I want to get the answer. How we will get the answer? Now 4 is like this, 0 1 0 0 minus, what is 1? 1 will be 0 0 0 1. So 0 1. Now this content has to be stored in register R3. So this is directly not possible. So it will not be able to perform the subtraction directly. So what it will do, it will just take 2's complement of this value. So let us take 2's complement of this. So 2's complement will be 0 0 0 1. Take its 1's complement first. It will be 1 1 1 0. Add 1 to it. This will be 1 1 1 1. Okay. So this is my answer for 2's complement of it. So let us now add it 0 1 double 0 plus 1 1 1 1. So let us see what is the answer. So 0 1 0 0 plus 1 1 1 1. So 0 plus 1 1, 1 plus 0 1, 1 plus 1 0. This is 1, 1 plus 1 0. So we can neglect this value. So what we are left with, what is this value? If we write it in decimal now again, 4, sorry, 8 4 2 and 1. 2 and 1, it is 3. So 4 minus 1, now my answer is 3. But how is going to do that? It will do it by performing 2's complement of the second value, which was 1. So it took 2's complement of the last value, like 1, and then added it with the actual value. So we are going to get the answer as 3, which is also, if we add these two, it is 0 0 1 1. So this is nothing, it is 3, which is simply the subtraction of these two values. So whenever we want to perform the subtraction, it will take 2's complement of the last value and then add it with the first one. Then it will get the answer. Okay. So that is why this relation is written like R3 is going to get the data from R1 plus 1's complement of R2 plus 1. So this, if we check this all, it is the 2's complement. Okay, so please remember, to perform subtraction, it is simply take the 2's complement of the second value and add it with the first one. So that is what the relation of this subtraction is showing. Then after this we are having the next micro operation, that is increment. So how increment is done? So increment is simply adding a value 1 with your existing content. So like if we are having a value 3 in a register, so this 3 value will be represented like 0011. Okay, this is a 4-bit representation for 3. Now if I want to add the content with this, so it will be simply adding the value 1 at the end. So 1 plus 1 0, 1 plus 1 0, 1 and 0. So if this was 3, now what is this? This is equivalent to 4. So just by adding the value 1 at the end, we are going to get a value which is incremented by 1. So 3 is now changed to 4. If we increment this value by 1, then again this will become 5. So we can use this to simply find out the values, or to perform the counting from 0 to 10 or 0 to 11 or 0 to 200, 300, as much as you want. So this will perform the counting, or it will be performing the increment by 1. Okay. Now next thing is little bit you can say uh, tricky. You can understand that as well. So now in this case, when we were adding the value, we were considering that we have added the value 1 at the end. Okay, so this was the increment case. So if this answer is this, even if I add 000 like this and then add, still my answer is going to remain same. Okay, my answer will be same whatsoever answer I was having. Now in while performing the increment, we don't write these values. It is up to you. If you want, you can. If you don't want, it is up to you. But when we are performing the decrement, then it is very important to have these zeros added. Like, let us take the same case for the decrement. Now this is decrement. 3 is represented like 0011. Okay, so now in this case we need to subtract 1 out of it. So how to subtract 1? As we discussed earlier, it was to perform the subtraction, we need to take 2's complement of the second value, then plus 1 into it. Then this is stored in R3. So this is how we are going to perform that. So if we want to take 2's complement of 1, so just check how it is. 0, this 1 will be represented like 0001. Now take its 1's complement. So this will become 1, 0, oh sorry, 1, 1, 1 and 0. If this is 1, this is 1's complement of 1. Okay. Now if we add 1 to it, this will become 1, 1, 1, 1. This is the 2's complement of 1. So just remember this value, all ones. So simply whenever we want to decrement a value by 1, you simply need to add a value with it. Now that value is 111 and all the ones. Now why it is all the ones? Because all the ones is 2's complement of a value 1. So 1 plus 1 is 0, 1 plus 1 is 0, carry 1, sorry, 1 plus 1 0, carry 1, 1 plus 1 0, carry 1, plus 1 1, there it is 1, 1 plus 1 0, 1 plus 1 0, carry 1, just remove it. So what is the answer which we are left with is 2. So which is simply decrement of 3 by 1. Now this case is going to remain same for whatsoever length we have for that number. So even if we are having a 8-digit number, like if we are having some value like 0 0 1 0 1 1 0 1 1 1, something like this, or any long term. So I don't know what is this number because I'm not calculating it. So if I want to decrement this number by 1, so what we need to do, we simply add this value with it. 3 plus 2 5. Just add this with it. It will give you a value which is 1 less than the actual value which we have at this place. This will perform a decrement by 1, whereas if you add a single value at the starting, so this will perform a increment by 1. So there is a very unique relationship between these two, decrement and increment. If you want to increment the value, just add 1 at the last bit of that number. So then it will be an increment by 1. If you want to subtract it by 1, or you can say decrement it by 1, simply add 1 to all the values which we have inside that number. So this will simply decrease it by value 1. So please remember this relationship. It will be very important when we are going to make a arithmetic circuit. Okay, in that arithmetic circuit, you need to perform increment by 1, you need to perform decrement by 1, and you will be able to see that once you add the value 1 to all of the bits, you will get a value decremented by 1. So there is a relationship. So please remember this. To increment a value by 1, just add 1 at the end, and to decrement a value by 1, add value 1 from each and every bit of your data. So all the bits should be added with 1 1 1. Then it will be automatically decremented it by 1. Now this completes our arithmetic micro operations. Now there are some circuits which we will be doing: binary incrementer, binary subtractor. So we will be doing this in the next class. We are not having that much time. Thank you so much for your time.